Hello and welcome. This lesson, brought to you by EasyPathUni in coordination with Yazan Ibrahim, is all about the introduction to ISO 19011. Now, our goal here is to keep things simple, interactive, and really practical. We're going to give you real-world examples you can actually use, and if we touch on any new ideas, don't worry, we'll break them down step by step. So, let's dive right in.
So when I say the word audit, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, right, it kind of brings up this sense of dread. You think of it as this chore, this box-ticking thing you just have to get through for compliance. But what if that's a totally outdated way of looking at it? Because today, we're going to go way beyond that old-school checklist. We are going to completely reframe how we think about auditing. We're going to start seeing it for what it truly can be, which is a massive strategic opportunity for any business.
And yeah, this is the classic view, isn't it? An auditor comes in, they check if you followed all the rules, they fill out a bunch of paperwork, and then they're gone. It feels reactive, kind of like a test you just have to cram for and pass.
But here's the huge mind shift we're talking about. What if an audit wasn't just about catching you doing something wrong, but about uncovering hidden potential? What if it could be the very tool that drives your business forward, making you smarter, more efficient, and giving you a real competitive edge? That is the promise here. So, the big question is, how do we actually do that? How do we make that leap? Well, it turns out there's a universal playbook for it, a global standard designed for this exact purpose. So, let's talk about what ISO 1911 is exactly. To put it simply, ISO 1911 is pretty much the gold standard for how to conduct an audit. And the key thing to get here is that it's not about what you audit, it's about how you do it. How to do it in a way that's consistent, reliable, and most importantly, actually adds value back to the business.
And here's what's so powerful about this standard. It's not just for one niche situation. No, it's designed to be this comprehensive guide that covers all three of the main types of audits that you're ever going to run into. First up, you've got your first-party audits. You probably know these better as internal audits. This is basically your organization taking a good, hard look in the mirror. For instance, maybe you audit your own procurement process and find out you're paying two different vendors for the exact same thing. That's a risk. An internal audit helps you find those things and fix them. Then you have second-party audits. This is where you start looking outside your own four walls, at your suppliers and your partners. You're making sure they're living up to their end of the bargain, meeting the requirements in your contracts. This is all about protecting your supply chain and ultimately, your own reputation.
And finally, the one you've probably heard the most about. Third-party audits. This is when an independent body, a totally separate company, comes in to verify that you meet the requirements for a big standard like ISO 9001 for quality. This is the audit that gets you that shiny certificate to hang on the wall.
And this slide right here, this really shows you the incredible flexibility of the standard. It doesn't matter if you're auditing for quality with ISO 9001, for the environment with 14001, or for InfoSec with 27001. The core how-to comes from ISO 19011. It's like the one master guide for auditing, which is a game changer for any company juggling multiple systems. Okay, so we've got the what and the where. Now let's crack open the standard itself and see how it's actually put together. You can think of it as a really logical roadmap, one that's built on these 7 key pillars that make an audit truly effective. You can see how it just flows, right? It's super logical. It starts you off with the basics, the scope, the definitions, so everyone's on the same page. Then it lays out the core principles, the philosophy of auditing, and from there it gets really practical, telling you how to manage a whole audit program, how to do a single audit, and what it even takes to be a competent auditor. It's the whole package, from start to finish. And to really get the philosophy behind it, let's just zoom in on one of its 7 principles, the evidence-based approach. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It just means an auditor can't make conclusions based on a gut feeling or a hunch. Everything, every finding, every conclusion, has to be backed up by objective, verifiable evidence. This principle alone is what makes an audit credible.
All right, let's get to the good part, the payoff. We've talked about the what and the how, but let's talk about the why. Why should your organization bother aligning with ISO 19011? Well, it all comes down to the very real, tangible benefits you get out of it.
And just look at how this translates into a real-world advantage. When your audits are consistent and reliable, that builds trust with your customers and regulators. The risk-based focus means you stop wasting time on little things and put your energy into what actually matters for your business. You build a stronger team of auditors, which in turn drives real improvement. It's a powerful cycle.
So let's wrap this up and bring it all together.
What is the one big idea, the main takeaway you should have from this whole introduction?
It's this. It's about a transformation. When you adopt the mindset and the methods of ISO 19011, auditing stops being this passive thing you have to do. It becomes a proactive, forward-thinking, strategic tool that actually helps your organization learn, grow, and get better. And that's the final question I want to leave you with. Next time you're involved in an audit, try not to just ask, did we pass? Instead, I want you to ask, what did we learn? How can you use your next audit not just to check a box, but as a genuine launchpad for discovery and innovation? Think about that.